All righty. Matt, garden looks amazeball.
It is, yeah, we got nice weather now. We got nice weather this weekend. The roses are back blooming. Beth's got all kinds of cool stuff back here. We're going to put some good meat on the grill. It's going to be a good Labor Day weekend.
I love it. I love it.
Speaking of Labor Day weekend, I was a little worried that we were going to have a light crowd this morning for CMO Coffee Talks. Not the case. I think we were up on our usual high on the West Coast. East Coast showed up. I don't know if it's just the commitment to the group, the topic. I know the topic was super hot for this week.
I know. I love it. Kevin came to both sessions. He was a 2-timer, which is amazing.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Didn't get enough the first time. That's awesome.
Yeah. Either that or he fell asleep during the first one.
It's pretty early. We talked about what's on your CMO dashboard. And I thought you and Corey on your team did a phenomenal job. We were talking before we started here that, when you show off some of your own metrics, I do this a lot with my entrepreneur group. When you show off your metrics and your balance sheet, and you're like, okay, like it's the good and the bad and the ugly. It's a lot of ugly. But I told you for the second one, when Corey started going into examples of what you guys do, the chat shut down. Like people stopped chatting and were mesmerized just looking at all the detail. And I think it's almost like CMO porn, right? When we can see each other's dashboards and see what we're doing. And I mean, some of it's good, some of it needs improvement, but it's really, really valuable to see what other people are doing and just be kind of open and honest about it.
Well, I definitely felt, Kathleen Booth just posted a LinkedIn on imposter syndrome.
Mm-hmm.
And I will say, like, coming off the 2 calls, I'm like, oh my God, did my dashboard suck? I'm so stressed. Like,
Yeah.
But if we've all got to just open the kimono. That's part of what the community is about, is trying to share and learn. And the reality is marketing metrics are challenging.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, we heard that in both sessions today. We saw examples of what people are doing well. When we asked the question, what tool are you use? We literally had 20 different tools show up in chat. We talked about the difficulty of complex attribution and the fact that some people are really trying to get there. Other people are saying it's just too hard and it's counterproductive. We talked about, the value of measuring demand, but the difficulty of measuring brand, both on its own as a metric that's important, but also sort of how it impacts demand. One of those things where I think the more clarity sometimes we get around how to do it, the more questions we have.
Yeah. I mean, some of the things Corey and I have learned the hard way are, one, conversions matter and how you track the conversion matters. And you have to establish a common language. And the reason they matter so much is those are the assumptions that you use to build up to your pipeline quotas. And that's really the pipeline quotas are kind of the essence of what we do. And it's the whole reason is because I started in sales and I came over to marketing and I'm like, where's my damn quota?
Yeah.
So that's how we came around to that system. And I found that, CEOs, boards, head of sales, they just want to know how we're doing against quota. And so we try to make it as simple as possible. How are we doing this month against quota?
Well, simple can be better. And I think, when you're thinking about your dashboard, especially as a marketing leader, you're like, okay, I've got to figure out how does this relate to my sales team? What am I selling in a board meeting? What am I showing my leadership team peers on a regular basis? It's not just a dashboard, it's a story. Like you got to think about what story are you telling about what marketing is doing, what marketing is impacting, and think about that through line you want to have about marketing's impact. And look, this isn't about spin. This isn't about making stuff up, but it's about being able to communicate as not just a marketing leader, but as a revenue responsible leader of the business. What are we focused on? How are we making adjustments? And how is it driving the metrics that we all care about, not just clicks and likes that maybe marketing cares about?
Yeah. One of the things I talked about was take all the clicks and likes and attribution, which yes, you and your team, want to look at and inspect, but put that in a walled garden.
Yeah.
Where no one sees it.
Yeah.
And then, when you think about running the business, I think about my job as future-proofing bookings. So I'm looking at pipe created And then that translates into my head of sales, Mark's dashboard, which is about pipe we're sitting on, open pipe we're sitting on, closable pipe for the quarter. And then there's the CS dashboard, which is, net promoter score, adoption, upsell, cross-sell, those type of things. But they do need a through line, right, to all be related. And to me, they all tie back to that revenue operating model that Corey showed.
Well, look, it was a great conversation. I feel like we could have gone in a lot of different tangents a lot longer. And I think there are more analytics related topics that we'll cover in future Coffee Talk Breakfast for sure. Attribution is one of them. The story you're telling as part of your metrics is one of those as well. And there's some good tools that I think are going to come out of this as well for those of you watching this that are, have access to the Content Hub. And if you want it, ask for it, because there's a lot of great resources and best practices up there. From past breakfasts, I know that there was a couple attribution models that people referenced that they were going to put up there, some brand measurement models. We didn't even get to Tushar, who has a 3x3 model for how to sort of very simply measure brand impact that is just basically using Google Analytics, and it sounds like SurveyMonkey somewhere. He's not even spending money on it. So I
love it.
We're gonna get that.
Tushar, we're coming for you.
We're coming to get it. You're gonna give it to us. Well, it'll be fine. But hey, look. This was the last in series 2, I guess, of the Coffee Talk series. We set them up initially in March thinking, we'll do this for a couple of weeks and then we'll be back to normal. No. And then we expanded it through the summer, and we just expanded it again for the next year. So who knows what the hell is going to happen in the next 12 months, but we will be here every Friday morning, 8 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific. So if you are with us already, we're so proud and so humbled to have you in our community. If you're a marketing leader, if you're a B2B marketing leader, a C-level VP, if you're leading your organization in marketing, we would love to have you. So please ask Latany or I for an invite. We'll get you into the group. And Latany, we now have not just the Friday mornings, we've got the Coffee Talk Slack channel to keep the conversation going out throughout the week.
We've gotten very fancy, Matt.
Very, very fancy. We have First Sip Cup mugs. We have a Slack channel. I don't know what's next after that. I don't know what else we can do.
All the surprises.
Can we do a Rose Bowl parade float? We got to think about what's the next step. I don't know. Well, hope everyone has an amazing weekend, and we'll be back next week. Have a good weekend, guys. We'll see you.